Alright, so the very first thing that I did just to investigate to determine whether or not I was correct or not, my assumption that the heels were sore, is I went ahead and I put some hoof testers to his heels. Typically I find that based on the horse's conformation and all, you'll find one heel or another pretty sore. Based on an imbalance, I typically find more outside heels sore than I do inside heels. And he is definitely very, very sore on the outside heel. All I'm doing is that's one-handed squeeze, and he's been pretty consistently sore on that one spot. You can see there's a lot of movement in this side of the foot, and he's got a lot of separation here. Mother Nature just wants that off of there, obviously, because it doesn't belong. The other thing that I noticed right away on both of these feet is that we were graced with some landmarks on the outside that actually show me what's on the inside of this foot, and one of them is this frog. Since this frog cannot move, it's built into a certain spot where on the opposite side it cannot actually move. This frog points right down the center of the bone, which takes up the front half of this foot. Now, if this points towards the center of his foot, obviously we have far less on this side and far more on this side than we do, and we have no symmetry to this foot. And if you look at it without it between my legs, you can see his foot actually points that direction. And that's an imbalance. And whether that imbalance was caused by his conformation or whether it was caused by poor practice on his feet or what have you, I don't know. That's what we're going to have to address. And it really doesn't matter, but we do know now, since his foot lacks integrity on one side, since it's distorted and pointing towards the opposite side, and since his heels are crushed pretty far under, we know that ideal is his heels should come to about here, which means that especially this outside heel is underslung so badly that the end of his weight bearing is right here, which is why he's walking on his toes, and it should actually be back here. Some of the other things I found with him is he's got a high-low problem, which means that one foot is a little higher in the heels than the other foot. Very, very, very common. And I found him shod in wedge pads, and usually that is to compensate for a heel that is underslung, and therefore we've lost our hoof pastern angle. I think more often than not, if we just go ahead and trim that foot to get it back up underneath there, then we probably don't need all those appliances. So my first goal with this is going to try to be to place something on here that's going to alleviate the pain and give him a little bit of support to his entire foot and redistribute weight to areas that right now don't normally bear weight. For instance, this area back here, to try to take away some of this pressure right here and get things to come back where they're supposed to. So I'm going to put a shoe that will do that. It's going to be a bar shoe that will go all the way around this foot and redistribute the weight evenly. Same thing on the other foot. And then we're going to remove all of this dead horn or this distorted horn that's moving forward and crushed in and what have you. There's a few buzzwords out there used like balance and crushed and breakover and underslung, and I try to stay away from all those, but basically what that means is that the tubes that hold this foot up and down have distorted in a way that they're now bent and cannot bear weight, and that's why he's sore on this one side. So we're gonna try to reestablish as close as we can to the hoof pastern angle and ideally the symmetry around that bone that we can get, and then we'll protect that and support that with a bar shoe and get him back down the road to hopefully getting normal original front feet again.
Excellent. How many shoeings would you say it will take to get him, to bring him back to, out of the bar shoes and back into normal shoes, in other words, a regular foot?
Typically, unless there is a real pathology involved, if I have the cooperation of my owners and what have you, and we go ahead and shoe him the way his body is built, I would say 3. A lot of it has to do with how fast he will grow. Since we need more foot to work with, the more I have, the easier this is. You can't build statues out of pebbles. And if they're exercised well, if they're fed well, and all good things happen, then I would say on a somewhere on a 5 to 6 week roll, I would say 3 shoeings. So we're looking at about 15 to 18 weeks.
Excellent.
Usually that will alleviate the problem unless there's some kind of a pathology that is leading to this problem. And right now I don't see that.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. This is Will Faerber with Kenny Lyons, Master Horseshoer. Ferrier, I should say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.